Okay, this is part 2 of a part 3 series on rebuilding a 1996 Yamaha Wave Venture wave runner. I just got the crankcase put back together and got the flywheel installed and the starter mechanism and also the drive for the jet pump. And the reason I wanted to stop at this point is because I'm going to start pretty soon here. I'll be putting that head back on. I didn't want to really try to torque any of this stuff up tight until I had the pistons inside the cylinders, for fear of maybe damaging these rods or the casting somehow, because as they rotate they get kind of hung up on things. So I'm going to put the head back, the cylinder and the head back together before I go any farther with this. So it was a good time to stop and take a video. Putting the case back together was pretty simple. I just made sure the case halves were just pristine. I used a razor blade to scrape the what was left of the case sealer off, very lightly. You don't want to get too crazy with it, or you'll actually get scratches on the metal that are deep. That's bad news. So I did it kind of light until a lot of the residue was gone, and then I took some Scotch-Brite and just went around my hand and just polished it until it was obviously virgin casting. That way I knew that the goop that I put on there was going to adhere to it. And of course I used a little bit of denatured alcohol. I suppose you could use acetone or whatever to clean the metal surfaces. I just want to make dang sure that that sealer adhered the way that it should. So this video, second video, was intended to kind of show the tail end of this part, and then I also wanted to show you some parts that I bought, actually all the parts really that I bought to go into this and put it back together. So here I have all my parts sitting here. I guess first and foremost, here's one of the pistons. I bought WSM pistons. I really don't know too much about brands, but I think these are pretty good. They're the Platinum series, so they've got this skirt stuff impregnated in them. I really don't even know what that is, but it sounded cool, right? Platinum series. So when you put the rings on these pistons, you have to be cautious as to where the ring gap goes. And sorry, my camera's not going to focus too good, but you can see those two dowel pins that have been installed inside the ring gaps. That's where your gaps, installed inside the, yeah, it's the gaps that are machined in it for the piston rings. The gap needs to be located there, because if the rings aren't positioned properly, they'll get stuck inside the cylinder head in one of the ports and probably break one off or damage the port. And they suppose they could rotate while it's running. I don't know if that's possible or not, but you sure don't want them to be in the wrong position. And of course the piston kit comes with a wrist pin, brand new piston, wrist pin, C-clips, rings. And I haven't looked at this too closely yet, but there's probably an top and bottom ring. I'll look at the directions before I install them and make sure that I'm putting the right one on the top and the right one on the bottom. On other engines I worked on, that's the case, but I'll double check. It looks like they come with good directions. Over here I've got some less technical stuff. This is some really good weather stripping I bought. It's going to be for the hood assembly. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. And a tight close cell. This is a engine compression gauge that I bought for this. I've got one, but this one's going to work better for these small engine stuff that I've been doing. There's a pulse pump rebuild kit. This was spendy. I'm almost I don't know if I needed it, but I just figured all the work going into it, I might as well replace the parts in anything that I think could fail. So that's a pulse pump kit. These are zip ties that actually have kind of a curved end on them, so that they're designed for fuel line. This is a gauge for checking pop-off pressure on carburetors that don't have float bolts in them, such as the ones we're working on here. This is a needle and seat kit from SBT. This is a carburetor kit from SBT, and this is a oil block-off kit from SBT that I'm going to use. I think SBT was a good place to go. They had lots of parts for this engine, and they come with directions. It's pretty cool. And you actually go on YouTube and they have guys doing real nice demonstrations of rebuilding carburetors and stuff. I bought some really good blue SPI fuel line. I'm going to replace all of the fuel line. Can't see it, but those are exhaust manifold gaskets. And then of course this is the kit that came with WSM pistons, so you get all the gaskets that you need to pull this top end off and rebuild it. There's the bearings right there. So as far as parts go, that's about it. I guess one last thing, because the gauge cluster on this machine failed, I went ahead and bought one of these. It's a GPS speedometer, and it was cheap. We'll see how it works. I don't know. It had good reviews, so the heck, I'll give it a shot. All it needs is power. And then I went ahead and made this block out of fiberglass that I can install that gauge in the center of it, and then it'll bolt right onto the machine. And I'll probably just put a little bit of RTV or something underneath it to kind of, so it stays put once it gets bolted on, or maybe some 3M body tape. So I guess that's about it. I mean, so far this reassembly part of things is it's kind of the easy part. It's going pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and do a video number 3 that shows this thing all put together, and maybe there'll be something I learned that'll help you out. Thanks for watching.